Hey everybody, I know it's, what did I say? Did I say 8:20 or 8:25? Sometimes I forget. Please tell me in the comments below if I'm loud and clear. It's a beautiful, what is today? Thursday? Thursday morning. I'll check it here in a moment and I will tell you exactly. It's Thursday the 17th of October. You know, for some reason, I woke up this morning thinking it was the 18th. You know, somebody go figure. And then I forgot my wedding ring. Somebody the other day reminded me, so Mr. Mwewa, where's your wedding ring? And you know, Facebook being what it is, everybody pays attention to what you're doing. Somebody's is there trouble in paradise? Well, how come you're not wearing your wedding ring? Well, you know, sometimes you forget it. You do. By Sydney. Thank you, Boss Sydney. I appreciate you. Please share this live. I'm in my office. We've gone about 3 days without power. Now, let me qualify that. 3 days meaning during the morning, evening, early evening, there is no power. What usually happens, or at least what has been happening over the last 3 days, is that power would be restored at about 1 or 2 in the morning for a few hours, and then it would go off. You come to work in the morning at about, I'll get to the office at about 7:45, sometimes 8 o'clock, and I'll do my thing, but usually when I get here, there is no power. Now, I must point out that we, as Simoson Building, are in the process of procuring a generator that will power the entire building. It's a costly exercise, but we're doing solar and backup generator, just so that we dot all the I's and cross all the T's, and that's where we're headed. And I know the other day somebody said, well, isn't it taking so long? Well, I'll tell you what. Isn't it taking too long? Well, I'll tell you what. It's a costly exercise. It really is. Shane Mumba says, how old is this man? What does age have to do with anything? I mean, I get amused when people ask such rhetorical, redundant questions. How old are you? Who cares how old I am or you are? As long as you're doing something that you think is worth looking at, is worth talking about. Because you know what I get usually with that question? That question, you know, the way that question is framed is pretty jacked up. And let me tell you why it's jacked up. It's because it has a hint of, doesn't this man have something better to do than to come on Facebook? How old is this man? If you don't like being here, just jump off, go somewhere else, okay? You're gonna be fine. All righty, let's get into it. Let me check my monitor here. What I need you to do, guys, please, if you can, tell me in the comments if I am loud and clear so that we can get this show on the proverbial road. I'm here at Simoson Building. I'm in my little tiny office here. I know some people get confused. I have 2 offices. I have a larger one that usually sort of, I use that for my guests when you come to see me, when you come to visit me for business or whatever it is. There's an office for that. But when I record these broadcasts, in fact, this space here is going to be turned into a proper podcast studio eventually. And so I come in here and I do my thing, and this is the reason I'm in here. Gibby, thank you. Thank you so much. Let me read some of your comments here. Redson, hey, Bo Allen, I see you, Bo. Thank you, Bo. Savior, the other day somebody says, no, but uposhafye Bo. If we're well, I'm gonna say hello to other people here. I'm gonna say hi to Gibby. Redson, thank you so much. Savior, thank you so much for being with me. I appreciate you so much. Bless you. All right, guys, let's get into it. As many of you know, a few days ago, there's a video circulating around that it was everywhere. It was on social media, many different platforms. And what it depicted, what it showed, was the mayor of Ndola. Now, Kundola is a town in the Copper Belt. And there's a mayor there that took it upon himself to sit in a car, turn on his phone, his recorder, and then began to cry and began to bemoan the fact that there were phone booths in the city of Ndola that Ndola City Council decided to remove to help the city manage a better ecosystem as far as functionality. Because as you know, phone booths are an eyesore for any city. Why? Because they are not strategically placed, and I'll get into that in a moment. So basically what this mayor did was that he started crying and wailing is what it was. But the thing is, there were no tears coming out. It was all just fake. It was all for show. And he was basically saying, I have just received news that the booths have been removed from town. Oh my God. And then he goes into this tirade of nonsense, you know. Well, the truth is, anytime you have a so-called mayor that does not reflect the desire of the council as a whole, you've got a problem. First of all, let's be clear. The Ndola mayor pretended, he acted as if he was completely unaware of the demolition exercise. My brothers and sisters, there is nothing faker than that. Every mayor in every city, in every major municipal, knows exactly what is going down in as far as demolition or removal is concerned. You need to get that in your spirit. I'll say that again, because I think that's important. It's important to me. It should be important to you. Every single mayor on this planet of any city is fully aware of any type of demolition exercise in as far as the municipal is concerned. So for that Ndola mayor to act, to feign ignorance, no, he was fully aware. Now, let me tell you why he did what he did. It's a very sinister type of politics, and it only works in Zambia. I don't see it working anywhere else. It doesn't work in Tennessee. It doesn't work in Mogadishu. It doesn't work in Belarus. It doesn't work in Serbia. It doesn't work in Yugoslavia. It doesn't work in Brazil. It doesn't work in the Maldives. It doesn't work in Jamaica. It only works in Zambia. The type of politics that Ndola mayor is playing is this. He's trying to convey to the people of Ndola, kuti inene mayor wenu shale fire tibamitobede ama booths shale fire, but council did it without, not only without my approval, but they did it without my knowledge. Therefore, I'm deeply hurt that abantu bamutown ama booths yabo na batobera alachabula ndani ngumfo obubipano mule umfo afye ubu fifye weka ama politics ayabu shilufye yeka kuti. I didn't know. The reason he did that, he wants the booth operators to think, and they believe all this. I mean, the booth operators, these people in town, they believe it. He wants them to think, inene mea wenu shale fwaya tiba mitobele. No mbaba mitobela. So ndi wabula ndapano mule umfwafye. Lies. Foolishness. That means you've got a mayor there in Ndola who places the interest of chaos over the functionality of the city. It means he's the wrong mayor. He's the wrong mayor. Anytime you have a man, a woman, who places the interests of individuals over the functionality of a city, it means you're not the mayor. You're not the right mayor. You're not the right mayor. What are you doing there? How the hell did you get elected? That's my question. This is the reason, my brothers and sisters, I keep telling you. You know, in the past, mayors were derived from a bowl of councillors. It's not like it is now. Now, the public can vote for the mayor. There was a time, mayors only came from a pool of councillors. Now, the problem with councillors is this. If you've got a councillor who is a street vendor, okay? This street vendor, because he's got a glib tongue, he can talk good, he can talk well, he can mobilize, he's a good community organizer. He's a street vendor. He eventually becomes a councillor. Whose interests do you think he's going to represent when he becomes a councillor? Tell me in the comments. I'm not taking any hostages today. I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to tell it to you like it is. Tell me in the comments, when you vote for a street vendor as a councillor, or a cachaso brewer as a councillor, or as a squatter as a councillor, whose interests is he going to represent when he goes there to counsel? He's going to represent the interests of street vendors. He will not represent the interest of the city. He will not represent the functionality of the city. He will simply represent the people that voted for him, which is wrong. The city comes first. Now, I keep telling you, you see, the issue of the booths, let me give you some history on these things that we call the phone booths. I tell you, my brothers and sisters, you have no idea how dysfunctional a city can become when booths are ubiquitous. Ubiquitous meaning they're everywhere. We still have booths in the CBD, but not as many as there used to be. Let me tell you why. You see, what about PF? Booths were regarded as the youth empowerment conduit. A youth empowerment conduit. The booths. Totally controlled by cadres. You see, when you as a booth operator go to Lusaka City Council, for example, and you go to council and you say, therefore I want to operate a booth. There is a license, there is a fee that you pay council. It's a one-off fee. It's about 1,699 kwacha. The last I heard, it's 1,699. It could have changed, but that's the figure I know. Lusaka City Council gives you a slip, proof that you have paid that one-off fee. Then this is where the foolishness comes in. And this is why Lusaka City Council needs to be taken to task on this issue. Instead of guiding, Lusaka City Council says to you, go out there in town, Iwosakire Maro, go and look for space. Since now we have given you this slip to prove that you have paid that 1,669 kwacha. Now go into the world and look for space where you can put your booth. Now, in the PF, let's say you're walking down Simon Mwewa Lane and you see a space. Oh, this will be a nice place for me to put a booth. The moment you say that, someone is tapping you on the shoulder. Magonga chani kono. Oh, bwana nifuna booth. Oh, lefo kuweka booth hapa. Nifuna malo ya booth. Oh, funa ufaka booth hapa. Bwana kono. You want to put a booth here? Come with me. Then they would take you to the PF chairman of this area. And then they would say that PF chairman of this area would say, oh, you want to put a booth there? 5,000 kwacha one-off, 300 kwacha per month. I need to let that sink in for a moment, just in case you didn't catch it. When the chairman, when the cadre, the chief cadre, says to you, I'll give you that space you're looking for. And it didn't matter where the space was. On Simon Mwewa Lane, they used to put them on the road. Bamusebofye, Abena Monga, Abena Mutila. These chaps were notorious. You see, to the cadre's mind, it's not about the functionality of the road. It's about how many booths can we put, because each booth represents money. 5,000 kwacha one-off payment that you pay the cadres, and then 300 kwacha per month. The cadres would come every month to collect that rent from land that doesn't even belong to them. Now, calculate 5,000 by 70 booths. And that's a conservative figure. Conservative. Because I'm just talking about one little lane. This is what happened here on Simon Mwewa Lane. Calculate for me, tell me the figure in the comments. 5,000 kwacha times 70 booths, one off. What's the figure? Jeben. What's the figure? Oh, honey, I'll wait. I've got all day. I know Bo Allen's going to tell me here in a moment. Anyway, I'm a comment. I need to read the figures. Are you going to tell me? $350,000 kwacha. Money that never went to Lusaka City Council. Remember, the only money that went to council was that 1,669 kwacha that you went to the council to pay, to say, oh, bwana, nifuna kufaka booth mu town, you pay that 1,699. Now, when you come into town, you're looking for a place to put the booth. It is not council that guides you. It's not council that says, oh, that fee you paid, bwenesa booth ufage apa. It's cadres. Wherefore a booth apa, 5 pin. Now, calculate, one of 5 pin, 350,000 kwacha. Cash, bwana. You just used to go to the pocket of cadres. Not even Lusaka City Council. Now, per month, calculate 300 kwacha times 70 booths. And that is a conservative figure. Because I'm just talking about a small road. I'm not talking about the CDB, the Central Business District as a whole. I'm just talking about one small Simon Mwewa Lane. 300 kwacha times 70 booths per month. How much is that? I'm going somewhere with this. I want to show you something. I want to teach you something. Mama, 21,000 kwacha per month shared between 4 people. The chief cadre, his deputy, and these 2 chaps who used to control this area. Bale for 21,000 kwacha, even more per month. Money that never went to the council. So, do you now understand that the goal is to get as many booths as possible? Because the more booths, the more what? Say it in the comments. The more booths, the more what? Say it in the comments. The more booths, the more what? The more booths, the more what? The more booths, the more what? more money. So the goal now ceases to be about the functionality of the city. The goal becomes put as many booths as possible so that if of makada zitwashipanga. Where is council in all of this? Nowhere. Can Lusaka City Council come to a party cadre and say, remove these booths? There would be problems. In those days, there was nothing like that. In those days, it was not possible for council to go to a PF cadre and say, imwe mabuthi yapa ya pakisa. Road this road cannot function. You've put booths where they're not supposed to be booths. You cannot put booths not only on the sidewalk, but now you've put them in the road. Road can't function. You think in the PF there was such a thing? Voila. It was put as many as possible so that we make as much money as possible. Which now brings me back to this fake Ndola mayor, this useless mayor. Aleli Lama Booth. Why? Because it is his boys who benefit from that. His boys. They benefit. They get a cut from that nonsense. But what suffers in that process? When you've got 100 booths on the road, the main road, who suffers? Tell me in the comments. Motorists. The city suffers. Thank you, Bob. People don't get to where they're going on time. Why? Because the road is blocked. With what? With booths. Booths were notorious. For example, if you take 5 booths, you put them side by side. That small gap between the booths. So what you ended up having was booths that were full of measles. And I almost said wee-wees. Urine. It's very serious. There's nothing to laugh about here. It's very serious stuff. You had a situation where in between there, when you've got 5 booths, they just used to put them haphazardly. You know the word haphazard? Just to put it there. They used to urinate in there and defecate in there. Booths were notorious. Is that youth empowerment? Is that helping the people? That's nonsense. Total, unadulterated, ubiquitous, unbridled nonsense. That is what that mayor in Ndola was pushing. Booths. Why don't you cry for the functionality of the city? Why don't you cry for a launching of a campaign that tells the people of Ndola to start cleaning? Why don't you cry over that? You're crying over booths. Booths that cause nothing but chaos and irregularity within any city. Edio imwe, babenyaba booth nabo. Ba me bare tulira, bare tulanira ifyabu fieka ero fyabu puba. Fieka. Booths. I am a boothier. And I think it's because now booths, they are far and few between. They're there, they still exist, but they are not as ubiquitous as they once were. Because now it's just a table and a small tent, which is more convenient, which is more workable than a booth. Booths were even being used as mini brothels. Bale push-up. As unbelievable as it may sound to you, I'm telling you, that's what used to happen in there. Bale push-up. It's nonsense. Total unadulterated nonsense. Somebody says, is doing your hands like that necessary? That's my mother. I'm channeling my mother. When I talk like that, just know that that's how my mother speaks. And she makes me laugh when she talks, so I'm just channeling her. Anyway, that's what I wanted to tell you guys. Booths. Oh, this is the last thing I want to tell you. Akale, even today in some parts, booth ngaba iwe na ukwata shop. I'm a shops. Now imagine someone who rents a shop. He's got a shop. Alalipila electricity, landlord alalipila electricity, water, council rates, ground rates. Umuntu alikwate chikuru ate? Ayon sama statutory obligations alalipila ku council. Edo kada aleta booth abika pado ya shop. Ama customers ba shop ba filo kuingira. Why? Because booth in front. Booth yota ilipila. The only fee that your booth yalipila need a 1,669 one-off payment. But when a cadre puts a booth in front of your shop, he collects rent. He's charged you 5,000. He's charged the booth owner 5,000 kwacha, one off. And he's charged the owner now 300 kwacha per month to come and collect from you. All that money goes to the cadre. Now, you, the shop owner, if you own that shop, if you own that building, you are paying council, ground rates, water, electricity, employers' fees, pay as you earn. But no one talks about you. Politicians only talk about the booth owners. We need to have politicians that put the functionality of the city first, not themselves, you jokers. To apena. Basanga fena onya nempanga atingeke ele kuya tiyo na apena. All right. Bye.